Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to hire workers and how to make them work for you so that you don't have to do farming yourself and you can get your workers to do all the gathering and farming for you. So first of all, you want to go to one of the main cities and you want to locate the work supervisor. So as you can see over here that I'm currently located in Velia, and all I need to do is I need to click on Find NPC and click on the worker. And voila, it'll automatically place a waypoint to the work supervisor, so I can just press T and I'll walk straight to him. So in Velia, the work supervisor is Santo over here. You're going to press R on Santo and this menu will pop up. What you want to do is you want to click on Contract Workers. It's going to cost you 5 energy to hire a worker every single time, so do make sure that you have enough energy. So you can see here that I currently have 52 energy, it'll cost me 5 energy to hire a worker. I click on yes. So over here you can see that I got a giant worker. So there are 3 different races of workers. So you got the goblins, the humans, and the giants, and each have their advantages and disadvantages. So the first race is goblins. So goblins have very fast working speed, very fast movement speed, average luck, and low stamina. So you can see here that there is a stat breakdown over here. So what does work speed mean? It simply means when you assign them a task, let's say I want them to collect potatoes. If you have very high work speed, they'll be able to collect the potatoes a lot faster than someone who has low work speed. Then movement speed is the second stat. Movement speed is simply how long it takes a worker to get from point A to point B. So in the main city, you will have to rent out lodging for your workers. So they'll be sleeping there and resting there. However, when you set a job for them to do, they will have to walk from the lodging to the cornfield or potato field or whatever task you want them to do. And if they have very fast movement speed, they'll be able to get to the farm much faster. So for example, giants over here have 2 movement speed, while goblins might have 4 or 5, which means the goblin will take less time to get to the farm to actually start working. The next stat is luck. So goblins and giants have average luck. So what luck means is the chance of getting a critical strike, which basically gets you more material. So humans have the highest luck, and giants and goblins both have average luck. And the last stat, which is probably the most important one, is stamina. So stamina is a stat that basically tells you how long they can physically work on the field. So let's say that I have a giant who is working in my potato farm and I also have a goblin working in another potato farm. The giant will work much longer than the goblin because the goblin has very low stamina and it'll get tired and then it will stop working. Once it runs out of stamina, your workers will stop working. However, there are ways to replenish their stamina, such as feeding them beer, which is why in yesterday's video, I said making beer is very important. So now that we've explained the 4 different stats, let's do a quick breakdown on what race does what the best. So as I said before, goblins have the fastest work speed, fastest movement speed, average luck, and lowest stamina. Humans have average work speed, average movement speed, highest luck, and average stamina. Giants have the slowest work speed, the slowest movement speed, average luck, and the highest stamina. So what does this all mean? The TLDR is, it depends on your playstyle. If you AFK a lot in-game, let's say you do auto fishing, or you're using the skill books to level up passively when you're not actively playing the game, then giants is probably the way to go. The reason I say this is because they have the most stamina, so you can just send them onto a potato field for 8 hours, they'll keep working, and you'll be fine. However, let's say that you don't like to leave your computer on AFKing all the time, like myself. Then for me, I like to use the goblin workers the most. The reason is because your workers only work when you are online. And if you log off the game and close the game, your workers will finish one rotation, then they'll go back to their lodging. They'll just go back home and they won't be working anymore. So for me, I prefer goblins because I am only online when I'm actively playing the game. I do not like to do auto fishing. I do not like to use the AFK methods too much. And so the only times that my workers are actually working is when I'm physically playing the game, and thus goblins fit my playstyle the best because they work fast, even though they run out of stamina quickly, but I'm always there. I'm always actively online, so I can quickly just feed them beer and they'll be fine. As for the humans, they are the well-rounded workers. So maybe you AFK sometimes, but you don't AFK other times. You know, humans are probably the way to go. And you don't need to hire all of your workers to be all giants or all humans or all goblins, because it's RNG on what worker you get. So you can see here that I got a giant worker, and let's say that I don't want giants, I want goblins, right? So I have to click view another. I'm going to click view another, and it will consume another 5 energy. So right here, boom. Okay, I got a skilled giant worker. So now you'll notice that there's different colored text, that this skilled giant worker is in blue. So there are different tiers of workers. You got naive worker, which is the lowest tier. You've got regular worker, which was just giant worker, goblin worker, human worker. Then you've got skilled, and above skilled you've got professional, and you've got artisanal, and you've got a whole range of different skill levels. But basically, when you're first starting out, what you want to aim for is, if you can get a skilled one, then by all means get it. So over here you can see that I got a skilled giant worker, so I'm going to hire him. And basically you're just aiming for, the average is going to be the green colored one, but if you can get blue, then get blue. If you can get anything higher than blue, that's even better. So you can see over here that I want this skilled giant worker. So I'm going to click hire worker, and voila, I've hired him. So now you've hired your worker, so you can check it over here at the worker tab. You'll see right here on worker tab that I have a bunch of workers over here. You can sort them out by town to make your life a little bit easier. So you can see here that I'm sorting it by Velia, and it'll only show me the workers in Velia. The reason why you want to sort them out by town is because let's say that they're located in Velia, right? So Velia is right here. And let's say that you want them to farm something all the way down here at Heidel. Let's say that I have a farm over here, a plantation farm. So I have wheat over here, and I want my workers to collect this wheat. What I should be doing is I should be hiring workers from Heidel and telling them to go to this plantation to collect wheat. The reason why I don't want to send my Velia workers all the way here is simply because of the distance. So imagine when you go to work, you need to take public transportation or you need to drive to work. And so it's the same concept here. If your workers live all the way in Velia and you want them to come all the way here to this plantation to work, that's a very long transit ride. They have to travel all the way to Heidel and then from Heidel to here. But if you hire workers directly at Heidel, then they're really close to their plantation, so their travel time is cut down significantly. So you can see here that if I've hired workers from Velia, I want them to work in the farms close by to Velia. That way they don't need to travel very far and they can spend more time working and less time traveling. So now that we've got our skilled giant worker, let's put him to work. So over here you can see that we're in Velia and there's going to be a bunch of nodes around. So these little spider web thingies. So what we need to do is we need to find something that we want to collect. So let's say that we go to the Forest of Plunder and let's say that we want mushrooms, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Forest of Plunder, and on the top left over here, we will need to invest contribution. So it will use 10 energy as well as 1 contribution. We're going to click on that, and boom, you see it becomes a gold circle. And you'll see that this line is now gold instead of white. And we're going to click on this, and you can see that we can gather arrowed mushrooms as well as big arrowed mushrooms. So we click on that, and again, we need to invest contribution again, and it will take another 10 energy. So boom. And this menu will pop up and there'll be a whole list of workers that you have available. However, in my case, I only have 1 worker available, which is the one in Velia because I just hired this one, and I can put him over here to collect mushrooms. So if I wanted to collect this, I would click over here on change and not do it 1 time only. I wanted to do it 50,000 times. I'll click OK, and then I would click on start work and he would automatically start collecting these mushrooms for me. So where do all these mushrooms go? They simply go to your storage. So in every town, you'll notice that there's a storage. You'll see the Velia storage, all of your crops and all of the stuff that your workers collect, which are located in Velia, all the loot will go directly into the Velia storage. But let's say you have workers in Heidel. If you have workers in Heidel, all the stuff that they collect will automatically go to Heidel. So you can see I have cooking honey and I have wheat, mainly because I've got workers over here in Alexandro Farm, farming pumpkins as well as cooked honey. And down here, I've got workers farming for wheat. So all of the loot will go to Heidel. So when you first start out, you want to focus on corn and potatoes because you want to make beer. The 2 locations that I highly recommend is going to be Logia Farm over here. You're going to see over here potato farming, and you're going to invest into this node and send your worker here. This is the first place I would send my worker. The second place would be over here at Batarli Farm. Again, on potatoes as well as chicken meat and eggs. And the last node that I recommend would be Toscani Farm over here because there are 2 nodes of corn. So those are the places that I have sent my workers to begin with. So I've got 1 in Logia Farm collecting potatoes. I've got 1 in Batarli Farm collecting potatoes. And then I've got 2 workers down here at Toscani Farm collecting corn. And that is what I would start off with. That way you have your corn and potatoes in order to make your beer. So there's one more pro tip that I want to talk about, and that is gardening. And gardening is something that I'll talk about in tomorrow's video just to keep this video short. But if you already know how to garden and you have a garden set up, what you can also do is you can set a worker to fix that garden, to prune that garden every single time so that you don't have to prune it yourself, as well as kill pests. So over here, you can see information for all your different gardens. So you can see here on my 5th garden, I'm growing a bunch of special olives and a bunch of high quality onions. So you can see here that I need to prune them, but I don't want to do this manually because it's a pain and it's a hassle. So what I can do is I can click list worker over here, and I can send this worker over here to start pruning all of these things as well as killing all the pests for me, so I don't need to care about this specific garden. However, for the other gardens listed on top, my worker will ignore them, so I'll have to send another worker for each individual garden, which is quite a hassle, and you end up having to hire a lot of farmers. But for me, I just need one. And the reason why I only need one is because usually I plant the most expensive stuff on the 5th farm, such as the special olives, and I just don't want to prune them. I just want to collect them because they sell for a lot on the market right now, and that's why I do this. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye. What can I say except